can't hear them if they're there. Are you guys there?
Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen, episode number 61. My name is Tony B. Alongside me is David B. Timmy D is phoning in on the highway today. He's rolling down the highway. We'll get a hold of him through the phone here. He's hooked in right now, and we'll bleed him in. Today's topics, autonomous trucking. It's big, it's growing. Number 2, industry news with David B. Remember, our views, the views of us three are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses a transportation provider. We do it, David, for what?
The transportainment.
Timmy D, we do it for what? That's right.
Transportainment.
There we go. That's right, the transportainment. You can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and our home website, ShipsGonnaHappen.com. All you have to do is just Google us in the Google section of the Google page, and you'll find us, or whatever your search engine might be. You Google Ship's Gonna Happen, and you will find us. David B., happy Saturday morning to you, my friend.
Good morning to the both of you on this absolutely beautiful Saturday morning. Driving through downtown Indy, it's 70 degrees. I should have drove the Jeep today. I didn't realize it was going to be this. Yeah. I didn't realize it was going to be this nice out. It is very nice out, and that construction in downtown Indy is coming along beautifully. I can't wait to see when that gets done. It's a little treacherous and getting through there, but anxious to see what it's going to look like when they finally get all that done. Today's show, as all the shows are, brought to you by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Great place to go to kind of unwind after a Ship's Gonna Happen week, listen to some music, catch it up with the locals, have some good food, and just a great place to go. And
apparently it was really good last night, huh?
Oh my God, it was. I honestly, I hate to admit this, and for those of you listening that are going to scold me for what I'm about to say, I always Uber to and from wherever it is I'm going, so I did not drive or do anything stupid, but I don't remember shit. I don't remember a goddamn thing. I don't remember how I got home. I don't remember anything. I don't think I ate, but it was a really good time. And I got to give it out. I got to give a shout out to the DXL guys, the guys with DXL. They took care of me last night. They actually bought me a tumbler with the
they got the logo on there
with the Ship's Gonna Happen logo and my name on it.
Shitting me.
This is really fucking nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Excuse my language, but this is really, really nice. This is a nice tumbler. It's got our logo, the Ship's Gonna Happen logo on it, and it has my name on there. That was class act. That was very well done. That was,
and I'm sure it's only going to have coffee in the morning only, correct?
Right, yes.
Yeah,
since I don't drink coffee.
To smell that.
Yeah.
I doubt it's coffee.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit of the hair of the dog this morning.
Was that Timmy D?
It is Timmy D. Timmy D, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm good, brother. Good.
So you're
glad
heading...
I would love to be in there watching you sweating bullets, all the alcohol coming out of your pores right now.
Oh, my. So Tracy always says that she goes, you smell so bad. You just stink because that just comes out of your pores. And I'm like, shut up. Jesus. But anyway, yeah, it was a rough night. I don't remember anything. Sean was there, so it was good to see Sean.
Have I ever met Sean?
No.
Maybe. You would know if you met Sean. His energy level is to a different level. I can promise you that. He has more energy than the three of us tenfold.
So. Yeah. So amen to that. You're exactly right. So, Timmy, what's up this morning with you? What's going on? You doing all right?
Where are you heading, Timmy?
I headed down to Nashville. Going down there for a little dual birthday party, a little quick one-day hitter there. And so just hitting southern part of Indiana right now. Little worried, though. They've got the Thunder on over or whatever it is for Thunder over Ohio or whatever it's called. Yeah. So they shut the bridge down, and Google had me going through Evansville, which added an extra hour, out 37 and back in. But Waze has me going through Louisville. So I'm going to try the Waze through Louisville. What I read, the bridge should be open until 8 o'clock tonight. So I'm hoping that works out. And I tell you what, I would like to get down to that show. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but the Thunder Down Over, whatever it's called, over Louisville, it's supposed to be one of the badassest shows you've ever seen as far as plane maneuvers. So,
oh, cool.
Who is it? Is it like the Blue Angels or
Blue Angels and all those, whatever you want to call it. It's supposed to be just one of the. So, believe it or not, what they do, which tells me I missed it this year. So last weekend would have been the machine gun shoot. You can come down and shoot anything you ever could dream of.
Wow.
Basically rent guns or whatever down there at Fort Knox. And then the next week it is typically the Thunder down over or whatever it's called. So pretty cool stuff. I can't wait to go through and see if there's any planes out practicing, honestly.
Oh, that sounds like a good deal. Did you do what I mentioned or suggested and update your Waze app? Did you do that?
Update my Waze. Why am I missing this?
We talked about it.
I remember you told me about the Uber trick. I got that all fixed up. What was the Waze?
We talked about you updating your Waze app last week on the show, where now you can choose your car and then the voice that you use.
Oh, I haven't messed with it yet. I have not messed with that yet.
No. That's okay. Just wondered if that was part of your trip, having some 70s DJ move you down to Nashville. It's kind of.
I got Lindsay in the car today, so I'm sure I don't need another voice. She'll tell me what to do, and I'll listen like a good puppy.
Well, good morning, Lindsay. Hope you're doing well. If you can hear us, so you guys have a safe trip.
She can. I put on the old school. I got my studio headphones on now.
Ooh, nice.
All right.
Well, cool. Right. Yeah, through the phone there. That's smart.
I got a lot of truck drivers looking over, figuring out if I just got short hair and big boobs or how that's working.
Nice, awesome. Man.
Awesome.
So, hey, we'll get into.
Hey, I got a real quick. Just so you know, I took a half day yesterday so I could do yard work.
Yeah.
And I could barely feel myself today. So my smart butt thoughts. Here goes a little LTL for you, butt. I thought what I would do is I'd grab, I need 100 bags of mulch. And so I do like 30 myself, and then I get a whole skid of 65 bags.
Wow.
And when the older boys got home, they would just unload it for me, take it where it needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I almost broke the axle on my truck. I didn't realize one of those skids weighed about 5,000 pounds.
Oh,
I thought they only
wow.
weighed about 1,000, maybe 1,500.
Sure.
I was like, nope, I had to come back. So I had to unload and reload 4 times myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
And do all the labor myself. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a fat kid, I ain't made out for it. So just FYI, don't buy a skid if you ain't got something that can haul at least 5,000 to 6,000 pounds.
Man, you're an LTL guy too, man.
I'd pay to have that stuff done. That's just, I know what you mean. That's a very tiring and taxing job.
Overload.
Whatever. Wow.
Yeah, your truck, you would think, how much can a truck like that hold, Tim?
Well, I got a half ton, so it's 1,000 pounds. I mean, you can get away with about 1,500, but even a full ton's only 2,000 pounds, right?
I didn't realize
you ain't gonna do it.
Yeah. You'd have to have a trailer or something. Did we lose Tim?
We may have. Timmy D, you there?
May have lost Timmy out.
I'm here.
Okay. All right. No, you were good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The trailer I got access to ain't going to handle that kind of weight, I don't think. So.
Yeah, because
all good. I just want to let y'all know I'm hurting today. My back is broke, and good luck with all you people that love springtime. I hope you're planting all the flowers you can.
Yeah.
More power to you.
I got to get some mulch too. But hey, yeah, we'll get into topic number 1. Let's get into autonomous trucking. All right, here we go. Oh, the wrong music there. Here we go. Getting into the topic number 1. All right, autonomous trucking. Okay, 90% of long-haul trucking, Tim and Dave, may soon be self-driving. Are you ready to share the road with autonomous 18-wheelers?
I don't know.
Okay, so this article was written by Tristan Beauvais. Nice article here. Dug into this. Elon Musk has called them the most impactful technology on the horizon, autonomous vehicles. But the unions are lobbying against their widespread use, citing studies showing they may kill up to 500,000 jobs. So just some topics here, some headlines off this article. The number of companies racing to perfect automated trucking is growing. And I looked at that list. Usually, a couple of years ago, there were just a handful.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's like just an enormous amount. I mean, it'd take 5 hands to count them, right?
Mm-hmm. So
it's growing. You also have the government putting money into it. So it'll be years before they're completely drivers are absent behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler. But the technology must still improve. So when I was looking at this, I wondered why they do a lot of it in the Southwest, in the Sunbelt states, right?
Right.
So I really never thought about it, but it's because they have less inclement weather, right? They have less weather. The satellites can track pretty much all through those zones because it's flat, right? Okay. So, so there's a huge increase in efficiency. So I didn't know this. The average driver, and Tim can attest to this because I think he's been the most recent one in working with drivers, but as far as in operations, but a driver only averages 6.6 hours actually behind the wheel when you take in breaks and all that stuff, right?
Right.
It's about 6.6 hours. So an autonomous truck is 17 hours. They can get it moving 17 hours without stopping if it's within the 500-mile range of the battery. So I just thought that was amazing.
So the battery range is only 500 miles. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, on average, about 500 miles. So, but they can recharge and do things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just interesting. So then it goes on to talk about, there's a company out there, and I looked at it last night called Too Simple, and they're moving freight from Tucson to Dallas and Dallas to Orlando, which is kind of a long haul, right?
Right.
So a changing marketplace. And I noticed that a lot in the LTL industry and the truckload industry. There's just a lot of people that don't want to do over the road, spending the night and stuff, right? Like we interview a lot of drivers that do that.
Right.
They're independent. So they're out there, but from the company standpoint, they're not finding them. They can't find them. So recruiting drivers has become increasingly difficult in the recent years, especially for long-haul truckers. The high-stress nature of the job, long hours away from home, potential safety hazards make the job unappealing to many. So they're saying in 2021, there was 80,000 fewer drivers, and that's going to continue to grow. The pandemic really hit it hard because a lot of people wanted their products delivered to the house, and there just wasn't enough drivers. And now we've cruised into that type of mode of a market, right? So people just want the product delivered to them. It's going to take a truck to get it here. This is interesting. The e-commerce sales right now is about 5.5 trillion. They expect it to be 7 trillion in 2025. That's huge. And that's basically to highlight a little bit of it. The union's fighting against it because it's going to kill jobs, right? But man, I think it's here to stay, and I think we're just going to start seeing it. But the one thing when I was watching some of these videos, which was interesting, it still takes a human in the cab. They still have a human in the cab.
Will it always take a human in the cab?
Good question. They said that will eventually go away, but they're nowhere near taking the human out of the cab yet. So they didn't give a specific time, but I'm assuming it's 5-10 years away from actually being on its own.
Is the human in the cab not? Are they also like licensed properly? In case
they have CDLs. Yeah, they do. But yeah, they do. They have CDLs, and they're ready to take over in case there's inclement weather, a tornado on the horizon, something like that. And again, they're doing them mostly in the South. They've seen a big dent. They've been able to put some efficiencies into the grocery warehouse. There's one company, I think it's Too Simple, delivering fruit from the Southwest to up into Kansas and Nebraska with the autonomous. And they say they're able to say, but here's the thing though, because the 6.6 hours versus the 17 hours. Aren't you, if a guy or a gal is still in an autonomous truck, don't they still have to get their brakes and stuff?
Yeah.
So how do they figure the?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Or they've got to use the, what do they use?
But let me ask you guys this though.
Yeah.
So why? I hate to say this because I'm a transport trucker. Why would the person as a passenger in the vehicle need to have his or her CDLs? Wouldn't I rather than be more like a first responder and trained completely trained on the same line as a CDL, but not necessarily have to have one to where you're just able to troubleshoot and stop that vehicle where you need to stop it, and then it's done until you get a tow truck and all that. So you don't necessarily need to handle it through in and out of traffic and all that, right? You're using this on long haul, not city drivers.
Right.
So when it gets on the highway, I guess even a Tesla gets you wherever you need to go. Why would you maybe make a modified CDL and all your job is to learn how to troubleshoot, as in if something it blows a tire, how you're able to just steer and stop. I mean, it takes the skill of a CDL, don't get me wrong, but the qualifications and the time spent in schools, would it be more, you think? I just throwing it out there that maybe you could be a less paid pay, right? Because you're more chilling than paying attention.
Right.
But if something does go wrong, you got these 6 buttons you got to hit, and that's all we train them on. Just hit this button, this one, hit that button. Just a thought.
No, I agree with you completely. I just wondered from a perspective of, with the government putting their hands in it, if they're making these people have CDLs in addition to the training that they have to have for also the mechanical part of it or the electrical part of it or whatever.
Well, I think it kind of, I don't go on top of the autonomous vehicles, but on the same token, it's kind of like cancer. The government also wants nothing but green energy and electric vehicles.
Right.
And it's like we spend billions on one segment and billions on the other on the autonomous side. Why don't we focus on one or the other to start with? We're trying to solve 2 problems. A, the truck driver shortage, and B, the emissions problem. So can we get our heads around just one problem and get a solution? You have breast cancer, colon cancer, all these different cancers. We pump trillions of dollars into cancer. We would just focus all in on one treatment for one kind of cancer and solve that issue versus trying, it's kind of like road construction. We're doing 600 mile road construction and focus on 100 miles.
Right.
But that's my thought.
No, it's a good thought. I agree completely. Yeah.
Well, it's a great thought, Tim. Not in this article, but one of the other articles I read. No, you're right. What and this is where it's kind of goofy. There is a company out there that actually does, so these gamers that game at home and stuff right now, they got them virtually driving vehicles. And you can actually virtually drive a vehicle. There's a company out there trying it with forklifts.
I love this. Keep talking about it. I love this. Now, this is a millennial thing right here.
Right. So,
work from home and drive a truck at the same time.
Yes.
Think about this. We drive roads like this, dropping bombs like drive.
That's true. I thought about that, Tim. I mean, that's how they do the drone technology, right? They fly them thousands of miles away, and it's somebody that's just sitting down in a cockpit.
I can tell you why, because it doesn't affect our civilians. It affects other civilians, right? So, but how brilliant would that be if you would just log on to the old Xbox right there, X, Y, Z, down, left, right, A, B, start, whatever, and boom, your truck just automatically starts rolling.
Would there still be road rage?
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem. That problem would come out on some of these kids. You can't see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God. But, there is a company out there piloting right now forklifts so that they can, because they're having a problem getting dock workers, right? So they're going to try to do this virtual forklift thing. And I thought it was a joke when somebody told me about it. I actually dug into it, and it's actually one of the bigger companies in our industry, Tim, that's actually trying to do it. Wow. So, which shocked me.
I'm definitely going to look into these videos after the show today. So.
Yeah.
AI is huge. Amazon's going big. That's another topic that's out there. New York Amazon went to unionize.
Right.
That's why, and Amazon knew they could only do so much to hold off for so long. They moved so much into AI technology to start pulling packages and doing that. I think you're going to see more of that.
Yeah, definitely so.
No doubt, man. So, you guys got anything else on the topic? It looks like 90% of long-haul trucking may soon be self-driving. We got a chickadee bird, Tim, pecking on a window today. Dave and I have been laughing about this.
Explain to Tim why.
Yeah, I got 3 little chickadees pounding on my window. They're in a territorial dispute.
Oh.
Yeah, so I looked it up, and apparently they're in some kind of territorial dispute, and they just keep packing. It's pretty loud.
It is. Can you hear it, Tim? Can you hear the birds pecking on the window? Can you hear them?
No.
Okay. It's these good mics canceling out that, though. But
I think Tony's sitting in front of the window holding the trees up like they know they're trying to get to it.
We're going to have squab for supper.
Yeah, we're going to have chickadees. But anyways, thanks for jumping in on those topics and stuff. Let's get, David's got topic number 2. Let's get his favorite music in here. Hi, this is the news with David B. Industry topics and news in the trucking industry. David B.
Over to you. Good morning, fellas. Thank you. So anyway, I really don't have much because I really had my heart set on these Walmart drivers being here. They didn't cancel out until 11. Yeah, great guys. We hope to eventually have them on. And they didn't cancel out until 11 p.m. last night. I worked this morning, and I've been on the struggle bus all morning. So I really don't have much. Diesel's still up. I don't know what you're seeing it on the road, Tim, but I filled up this morning at 376 to fill up my truck and Tracy's car. So fuel's still up. I am seeing rates come down significantly. It is nice to see rates
LTL truckload.
Yeah. It is nice to see rates fall. I mean, I quoted a move down to Miami the other day over the road for 3,800 when typically it's been up to as much as 5,000 recently. So it's kind of nice to see these rates coming back down, leveling out. I mean, it's huge.
I would tell you, so fuel is still up, right? I mean, at least the fuel rate is still at the 90% on the truckload and the 40s on the LTL. I think a little bit of the capacity that is out there available that's kind of allowed the rates to drop, in my opinion, is because you got China on that lockdown. So some of that port congestion is starting to actually open up and frees up the trucks to come back. So when the supplies have kind of stopped the last 3 weeks, basically, means people can't make as much, and so it's going to naturally drive capacity to loosen a little bit.
Right. Yeah, that's well said. And that's exactly what's happening. I also driving down, and I don't want to bore our audience any more than what we already do bore our audience. But one of the things that we haven't really talked about much is kind of where we've kind of talked a little bit about ourselves. So this morning, I really kind of wanted to talk with Tony and Tony, tell us a little bit about how you got started in this industry. I know that you probably didn't seek out being in this industry, but what led you kind of getting into the aspect of the job that you currently do?
Man, good question. I had actually owned an alarm company and sold an alarm
in Illinois?
No, in Indiana.
Okay.
And actually sold an alarm to a district manager at Roadway.
Okay.
And he was somewhat impressed with me and said, "Hey, man, you do this on your own. You own your own business. Do you make this much amount?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, about that." He's like, "You should come interview. And I can maybe get you hired at Roadway.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, well, this sounds interesting. It was up in Carmel. And then I went and interviewed, got in it, and basically that was how I got started in it.
How did you get here? How did you get to Central Indiana? What brought you?
Yeah. So graduated college. Ann and I met at college, my wife, Southern Illinois.
Nice. The Salukis, is that right?
The Salukis. Yeah.
There we go.
So we met in college, and my first job offer was Aldi Foods.
Okay.
So I had Aldi Foods. I went to the Greenwood location and trained.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were living in a town called Marshall, Illinois, which is just outside Terre Haute, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And what had happened is they offered me the store on East Washington Street.
Oh.
It was a brutal store.
No thanks.
Yeah. Well, I took it.
Oh, yeah.
Because the money was really good. And so I took it. East was actually Holt. It was off Holt Road.
But that's west.
Yeah, but it was the West Washington, I guess, would be the right off West Washington.
Okay.
70 in Holt.
I got you.
So that area.
It's the road that still has the same potholes from 30 years ago.
Yes,
right, yeah, exactly.
Yep, sure does.
Yep. And so got into that, did that for a while, and didn't like the grocery retail industry. It's kind of brutal. You can't get 2 days.
It's a lot of hard work, isn't it?
Yeah. The manager, I'll tell you this. I always tell people this. Typically, I thought a manager's job would be, you sit back in a chair and you're just watching screens and stuff, right?
Right.
Not happening at Aldi Foods.
Okay.
The manager at Aldi Foods is a hard-working person. You are stocking shelves.
Mm-hmm.
You are giving the cash register people breaks,
mm-hmm.
and you are constantly stocking the shelves and rotating your milk, because here's what happens with milk. You'll get older women in there. Nothing against older women. I love older women. But you'll get older women in there that will rotate the milk for you and not in the way you want to. Correct. They'll put the newer milk up front and rotate your old milk to the back.
Bitch, get your hands off the milk.
Yeah. So I would literally have to sneak through the glass and watch. And I'd see these women come through and reach behind. So I have to pull the milk racks back to hide them. And every product's just about like that. So one of the last events that happened, and I'll tell you, this is kind of a weird story, but so I had a guy who I think was a Vietnam veteran who was poor, and he would come in and he would always buy cat food. And I'm like, well, he's eating the cat food.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I felt bad for the guy. So I left kind of almost expiring food that I had pulled off the shelf and back for him. They got mad at me, said, don't do that no more. Yeah. So I was trying to feed the homeless there. But anyway, so that didn't work. Felt bad for the guy. So the last incident I had was I got to get the hell out of here was I had two ladies come in the store, and I think they were looking for a slip and fall lawsuit. So a kid had vomited on the floor. So I went and got the machine and cleaned it up and stuff. And then this lady like purposely bumps into the scrubber and falls down and says, you hit me. You hit me with it. And I was like, yeah, I did not. And then all these people came up to me like, dude, we saw the whole thing. I go, well, there's cameras too. So then I tell her, well, there's cameras. Well, I'll send it to corporate, whatever. She's like, sure. I go, here's corporate's office and number and all that. So it was like a scene out of Saturday Night Live. So this lady was smoking in the store too. And I told her you can't be smoking in the store. So she's dropping F-bombs on me and whatnot. So she gets out and leaves. Now the store's closing, right? So some guy's banging on the window at like 6:15 and I'm trying to read his lips. I'm like, what? And he's like, fire out back. And I'm like, fire? So I go out back and look. The cameras caught this lady flipping a cigarette into the trash dumpster. Mm-hmm. Towering inferno, dude.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, this is nuts, man.
Don't people suck?
Yeah. So I was like, man, and you couldn't get 2 days off in a row. Right. You could never. You
like Sundays and Wednesdays. Or
yeah,
something
you had to pick something stupid like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was hard to find a replacement for you. So paid really well though.
So when you ran the register, didn't you have to know all the prices and you would have to hand enter? Oh, Jesus.
Yep.
I don't know how you did that.
It just came out. It was easy actually. Oh. You get all the beans, canned stuffs like, but at the time was like either 29 cents or 39 cents. Oh, so you knew that.
Do what? How much?
Yeah.
Back then it was 29, 39 cents.
It's probably not.
Oh, smoke.
Yeah. It's probably kind of close to that.
Hey, real
now.
quick, how do you write your cents? Do you do the money sign, the decimal, and then that, or do you write the cent sign after?
No, it was just flat.
No, my question is, in English, it's accepted both ways on how it's written. The money sign, decimal.
Do you write
and then the numbers, or do you write the numbers and then the cent?
Yeah.
Side.
You talking about when you enter it in?
No, I'm saying when you would if you wrote an essay for English class when you were growing up in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Would you write $.39 or would you write 39 and put the cent emblem?
Oh, we did $.39. Yeah, $.39.
But no, what Tim's asking, where would you put the cent or the dollar symbol?
Oh, you put it
in the beginning or at the end?
The dollar sign would go at the beginning. Mm-hmm. The cent sign would go at the end.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I'm asking. Here's the police. Hold on, put my headphones down.
But yeah, so then that happened, and then the Aldi, and I got into the alarm.
How long were you at Aldi?
About a year, maybe a year and a half.
So you were probably a little. I mean, that's a physically. So you were probably trim, and not that Tony B isn't trim and looked good today, but just back in the day, I imagine that kept you healthy.
Oh yeah, whatever, it was good. It was good exercise and stuff. I enjoyed that part of it. It was the time off that was horrible.
Did you shop at Aldi? I'm not saying
we did.
There we go.
And what I'll tell you is a lot of the big brands, the big box companies actually make their product.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just put a private label on it. Mm-hmm. And everything in the stores pretty good. And now better today. And the fruit, their fruit and vegetables, believe it or not, their fruit was some of the best fruit you could get because of the fact that they take it weekly or daily. Every 2 days a week they take fruit on. So it's fresh And I had the right to deny the truck if I didn't think it was fresh.
The truck.
Oh yeah. Which a lot of the supermarkets would not allow you to do that. So Aldi's a German-owned company. In Germany, in Europe, they're huge. They're like Walmart would be here, or Meijer. So, and they have a they own Trader Joe's, right? They're very aggressive.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They're very aggressive with pricing and purchasing. And,
their parking lot's always full.
Yeah. I mean, it's just wasn't for me, I don't think. So, then got into the alarm industry, really enjoyed that. And then that's how I got into selling that alarm center for, to a gentleman that.
So you never installed, you just sold?
No, I sold it and then had an installer install it. And usually you could get them back in the day to install it. It'd be like 150 for the install. So what I would do is, I would sign a customer up for 36 months monitoring. And I had my private monitoring company doing it in South Carolina. ADT brings security. All these people, they don't monitor all their own homes and businesses. They're outsourcing that. So I had found a company in South Carolina that did it, and it was like $4 a month for me to sign you up to a 36-month agreement, 3 years, $29.95 a month.
Okay.
Right. So basically that'd be $700-800, right? For the 3 years. So what I would do is I try to keep them in house, but I was operating it on cash out of the trunk of my car. Right. So I would sell those to ADT Security Link, depending on what your credit score was. They would buy, if it was $700-800, they would give you $450-500 for the contract, and then you'd sign it over to them. So I didn't have a lot of cash. I didn't finance it through the bank or anything. So I would sell X amount, keep X amount. Wish I would have just kept them all. Right. But didn't have really the payroll to do that, because you have to buy the equipment up front, and the equipment was not cheap.
So you were just worked for yourself basically then.
Yeah.
Right?
I loved it. I wish I would have never stopped doing it, actually, because could have been able to, especially the way the world has gone with security, probably could have had a lot of, there were gentlemen that I was in a neighborhood selling alarm. That was the bad thing about it. You had a door knock and follow the burglaries, and then flyer them. So I knocked on the door one time, and the guy goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, you're doing it. I did this my whole life." And I'm like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." He lived in a really nice neighborhood, and he said he still had like $4,000 or $5,000 a month coming in from those agreements.
Oh,
for over years that he had signed.
Wow.
So I thought, man, but what happened was there was a big scramble in the industry at one time where ADT I was getting the equipment at the same price ADT and Security Link were getting it. So then they collaborated with the makers, and I could no longer get it. So my $99 equipment went to like $299.
Oh, wow.
So it just ate up too much profit. So you had to sign up too many customers to offset that. And no insurance and stuff like that back in the day. That was a problem.
No 401k, no
401k.
Insurance. What was the percentage of people that just shut the door in your face? Most?
Well, yeah, no, it's good, because I had to really get smart about that. There was a book called Guerrilla Marketing and Guerrilla Sales, and I really dove hard into that. And it statistically holds true. You'll have 10 people tell you no, right? You'll have, let me back up. Out of 10 people, typically you'll have 3 interested. 2 are just running you down the road. 1 will eventually sign. You don't know which one of those 3 it'll be, but typically 1 out of 10 would sign a deal. You might go 0 for 10, and then you might go 4 for 10, right? But the statistic always averaged out to be 1 out of 10. So, and that pretty much holds true in sales. I think Tim could attest. It pretty much, if we go knock on 10 doors, 10 businesses, typically, if you cold call on 10, you might find 1 that 3 interested, 1 that maybe you put 3 pricing files in out of the 10, 1 might do business with you. Okay. So that stat still holds true, but had to get really tough with that. And then, so I had a little box where it had the alarms. I could hook up a wireless one, show you how it worked. it's pretty cool. I mean, saving lives, really.
Even though it was a long time ago, the way you describe it, it makes it sound like it wasn't that long time ago, especially if there were wireless stuff,
They just came out with it.
Oh.
And those were only on the demos at that time. So you could just demo it. They didn't have the technology really down, but they were coming out with it. Yeah, it was 20 plus 21 years ago.
So you go from doing alarms to now you're at Roadway. So again, tell us how that happened. How you got to Roadway?
So there was a burglary in a neighborhood, and I had flyered it, and then several had called wanting it. If you're in sales and you're gone, traveling like a district manager would be, right? Operations manager might be traveling. You might be concerned about your family and stuff. So he was, and he wanted to get an alarm. So I had sold him on it, set up the install and all that. And then he said, hey, you might want to, maybe you could come. He was impressed with me for some reason. And then, I went and interviewed for him and got the job, which at the time, like I said earlier, was the insurance. I was worried about the insurance because it was like a lot of money.
Sure.
And, being young, you don't think about that as much, but when you get children, you start to think about it. So it worked out, and that's how I got into it.
So you went to training in Ohio for that job then? Is that right?
And if you didn't pass, you went home.
Oh.
Yeah.
How often would somebody not pass? I mean, it seems like
there was one guy sent home when we were there. Actually, two were sent home. One was sent home because he was late twice to the morning meeting. Mm-hmm. Roadway was very, very, very anal about being on time and being respectful.
Right.
And then passing your safety stuff and passing your test. So they eventually stopped that, though.
As far as the time frame is concerned, is this the mid to late 90s? Is that what this
would be late 90s, yeah.
Late 90s. And so since then, you've been in the industry that entire time. And do you see yourself, this is what I'm going to end up doing? I mean, not to bash your age or anything, but this is.
Yeah, hope to. Retire in it.
Right.
Yeah, hope to. I mean, it's been a good industry to me and my family. Heck, man, we've gotten the opportunity to move around.
Considering the company that you work for now, I mean, I don't know of any time that they've ever just let people go or whatever.
No,
so
they've been.
You work for a good company now.
I think so too. Yeah.
Not that you haven't worked for good companies in the past, but you're probably in a pretty good spot now to just kind of. Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because during COVID, they really showed what type of company they were. There were a lot of companies that had laid off a lot of people, put them in furlough, got rid of people. Our company didn't do that. They kind of, the company was founded during the Great Depression. Right. So they're familiar with adversity and they adapted to it. And I was impressed with the fact that they really didn't, and it helped us in the long run, I think, keep business and keep customers happy because we kept those people working. And there was a carrier that went out that they had purchased and put them on payroll like the next day. Yeah. So family owned and they run it like a family pretty much. So what has been the best time in your time in all of your years in this industry? What has been the best time in the industry? Is it now? Was it 15 years ago? Is it all just still the same? Or how do you look at how things have changed in all of the years as far as your job in particular? Yeah, well, no, good question. I think early on when I got in the industry, so I'm going back to 01, 2000 area, you had customers that were pretty loyal. You didn't really have to be the cheapest per se. You just had to be in the ballpark. And that's true to some extent today. I agree. But it's a lot less today versus how it was then. It seemed like it was harder for customers they wouldn't move as much back then as they would today to another carrier. You yourself might be in a different boat because you're more of a relationship guy. Right, yeah. But it seems like more have become transactional over the course of time, which makes you have to be more nimble and more involved in pricing. Like, for instance, I can remember maybe doing 19
maybe doing 19 pricing files in 2 years in the early 2000s. Today, you might do 19 in 6 months.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So adjustments, you're going to definitely do that within a year, probably. So that's changed where it's more competitive because I think there's less carriers. So than there was when I started.
Sure.
So I think it drives a little more pressure. And the carriers know where the business is more today than there was. I mean, I can remember calling on people back in the early days where my competition didn't even know where they were.
Right.
You know, today you know where they all are. So it's a little bit different. So it's still good though. I think it's still relatively the same day-to-day stuff, although COVID changed that a little bit, but still getting out, making calls and doing that stuff.
But you're probably a lot more customer service oriented now too. Not that that's a bad thing, but that's just something additional to your plate that it'd be nice if you had other people to probably take care of that aspect for you. Yeah,
no, you're right. It seems to be a lot more day-to-day customer service oriented stuff where, you know, you could go back in the day, you could go out all day and maybe get 5 emails, right? And they're not even pertaining to you. They're just company information type emails. Today, you're getting them directed toward you, you know, requesting help and the technology's there to do what you need to do with that when you're out. But, and COVID changed a little bit of that too, where I think customers were used to you being home or in the office, being able to fix that stuff right away. So now you're getting back out on the street again. You can't fix them right away because you're out making calls and stuff. So that's a little bit of a difference. And because you yourself are so used to fixing them right away that you get frustrated when you see them and you're like, ugh. So because you're so used to doing the customer service, but it's getting back to normal. So I think with the, you know, being able to give it back to the customer service at the terminal. So because the terminals went through a lot of stuff, right? You think about it, you know, it's just like you at your own company, right? You guys are all fighting the you know, wearing the mask, doing all you can to fight the COVID issues. And then you got people coming down with it and missing staff members, right? It's been tough to hire, staff. It really has. I mean, you don't have, had a lot of unemployment, you know, in the industry. So
no more mandates this week.
It's over. Yeah. Thank gosh. Right.
It is, yeah.
You know, that calls for a little bit of applause there. Mandates. Goodbye, mandates.
Yeah. It's nice to hop in an Uber or go wherever and not have to be mandated to
wear the mask.
Yeah. So
it's hard to breathe in damn things.
Some normalcy, back to some sense of normalcy, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So, well, I always like to get everybody's backstory or whatever. It's kind of good to hear how Tony you are listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show. And it's kind of nice to hear how Tony got in this industry. It's always an interesting story to hear how we all kind of ended up doing what we're doing today. Timmy D, you still with us? Oh, I'm going to say
I'm still here.
There we go.
Listening to Tony tell me the last 30 years of his life. That's all.
Boy, hey, did I put you to sleep? Was that good sleeping music?
That's why I was afraid that you got to wake up.
Yeah, she just hit me in the shoulder telling me.
There we go.
No, I think it's interesting, right? Everyone's got a different path to, like I've always said, there's not, I would believe I'm probably not wrong here. Not very many people say when they're in 5th grade, when they're asked what they want to be when they grow up, they don't want to say, I want to be in the trucking industry. I want to be, you know, it doesn't come up. So, I think this industry has a lot of good money to provide for your family. And I think that's what drives a lot of us to it.
Yeah. Back in my day, when I worked the dock at my old job, the school bus would drive by early in the mornings and there'd be full of kids. And I always randomly said to the other guys, you know, stay in school, kids, or this is you, you know. So, as a joke. Literally though, it's not bad. It's okay. Well, you make it what you make it.
Ed Perry always had a good saying, I'm in trucking because they allow me to be.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a good one because, yeah, it's a good industry. I mean, Tim, it's been good to you and your family, right?
Yeah, I've been doing it since I've been 18 years old. So I'll be honest with you boys, I don't know much else outside of 3 or 4 different high school jobs. I don't know. I don't know anything else. So, I've never really had a job interview. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was referred from a friend. Actually, my best friend growing up, he was working as an intern, and I got a job as an intern. So the guy got promoted to supervisor. It opened up, and so yeah, and that was it. I had to take an assessment test, and that was it. They said, come in on Monday. You'll do a job shadow. And then the job's yours, basically. So that's it. That's all I know.
Yeah, I was 18 years old also. August 15th, 1988.
Damn.
I remember the exact date I started in the industry. Been in it ever since.
So they said, Timmy, your personality fits perfect. Come and join us.
I guess. I don't even know what the damn test was. Yeah, it probably was a personality test or something. So who was the guy? Jim somebody was the guy that hired me, basically. You probably know who he is.
Jim O'Connor?
Jim O'Connor. That's him.
I know him well. Yeah.
So he's the one that kind of come up and had to take this assessment test. I don't know, it was about a half-hour test or something, and turn it into him, and that was it. There was really no interview questions. It was basically, can you work this schedule? It wasn't like what schedule fits for you. Nowadays it's what kind of schedule you're looking for, all this other stuff. And I'm sure now as a grown adult, those kind of interview questions are probably normal, and people look for certain things when they're looking for different jobs. But at the time, I was just trying to make more than $6.50 an hour, whatever it was, $6 an hour or something. They were paying. I think I started out at $7.25 or something, and that was big money to me.
Right.
I was able to live in an apartment, so that was it.
$3.
There you go. Show up, and there you go.
$3.35 an hour is what I started at.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I started at $4.25. I think that's what I had was for.
No, and they were pretty good too, because they give you like your incremental bumps, right? They would give you 3 after 3 months. Boom, you got this. After 6 months, you got this.
So I never got any of that because I was an hourly employee. I got hired in as an intern, and so it was that. Then I left for a year when I went overseas, and I come back and we don't do internships anymore. I'm like, what? Like, I need my job back. Can't get rid of it. Like, well, we don't have that job. It was an intern. It's not really a job. And then the guy I knew that still was a manager there said, we'll get you a job. He goes, I don't know what you're making before, but how does, I think it was $12.50 an hour sound? I'm like, hell yeah. Let's get after it. I'm there right now. I work overtime. You need me to. So, pretty cool.
That is cool.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah. I don't.
And for the record, I just now make $13.50, so I'm still
right.
about that.
Man, it's tight. It's tight. I haven't jumped it up a whole lot for you since then, huh?
I wait for that minimum wage to kick in. The Fed 15 will bump me up a little bit.
There you go. Yeah, definitely.
So where are you at now in the vehicle, Tim?
Just hit Scottsburg. Getting ready to go through the gauntlet down in Louisville. Kind of scary. I don't know I'm sure a lot of people pass it, but I'll tell you what, it feels like you should be going a lot faster, but I ain't mad at the 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. It's left, right, a lot of traffic typically, so here I get real excited here shortly.
Might be all that spring break happening, right? Spring break drivers, or is it construction?
Well, the good thing is it's not one of those mornings. It seems to be pretty, I don't want to jinx myself, but pretty wide open. About 50% between semis and cars, but pretty good size. I've been able to cruise pretty well. So, yeah. Hope it stays this way, though. You never know.
Yeah.
Downtown Indy was a little more congested this morning than normal, but I just talked it up because the weather's nice or something. So
people getting out, yeah. Maybe that. Did you have another topic, Dave?
No, not other than random thoughts.
Okay, hang on. We'll get into random thoughts. Here we go, David B. Hit us with those random thoughts.
So it is baseball season, and the season's underway, and our Indianapolis Indians are just one game under 500. They're 7-8 in this early season. And the Cincinnati Reds suck. I don't know if any of you are Reds fans, but the Reds suck.
I have not
suck.
looked at that. Timmy, have you looked at any of the Reds? You're a Reds fan, aren't you?
I was born and raised as a Reds fan, and a lot of people say sell the team, Bob, but man, so here's the crazy thing. So everyone preseason, they turned away every single person you can imagine outside of Vato. And so they come out and they play the Braves opening game.
Yeah. 2-12.
They won the World Series, and they beat them pretty handily. So I'm like, oh, man, this is just like unbelievable juju. So I was like, I bet on the Reds to win and Vato to get a hit. Of course, they got beat, but then they beat the Braves again, and that's the only win they bet all season. They're horrible. They're just horrible.
Yeah.
So they traded everybody?
Oh, they let all their, you name it, yeah, they're all gone. Barnhart, you name it. They got some young draft picks, and I don't know, I think their whole salary cap's about $14 million total. It's ridiculous.
So I pulled it up. Worst record in the league.
Oh, yeah. No, they've lost like 9 straight.
10.
Yeah,
it's 10. They're 0-10. Last 10.
Okay, so they lost again. There you go. And I think they've only scored about 6 runs in those 10 games.
Yeah, I tell you what, my Cubbies only got them beat by 4 games.
Yeah, that's not a whole lot better.
Holy cow, Cubs. Pirates, Brewers, Cardinals are running away with it. The Cardinals are going to clinch the division. Brewers and Cardinals, one of them two is going to clinch it probably by June.
The interesting thing, if you pull up 5 teams of salary caps, you will see the teams that are spending money have good records.
Sure.
I hate to say, but it's starting to turn into the NBA, a league, superstar league heavy, get big teams together, kind of like the Yankees have always done. Spend the money, and teams are starting to learn to get 3 or 4 big ones on their team and go that route. So I do like MLB. The problem is there's so many games and so much to watch and so much to keep up. I used to do a fantasy league. I can't do that anymore. I like this time, get you into that summer, spring mode, however you want to look at it. And normally over the summer, I kind of relax a little bit. Come towards that September, October, I get back into it for sure. There's a lot of suspense in baseball.
Well, it looks here, Tim, I pulled up a story here. It says Reds fans are now showing up to games with bags over their heads.
They've only had 3 home games this year so far.
The old paper bags. So speaking of, let's tie that together with your Aldi story. So, good old Lindsay, he started to do some of the Epic art in Aldi, so it's a lot cheaper. She likes it. And everything comes in paper bags, which you got a special request when you go to a Kroger or a Meijer or a Walmart. But paper bags, so that's what you get. If you need a paper bag for a Reds fan, get to Aldi, get you something, get you a paper bag.
There you go. Good stuff.
That was the only random thought I had was baseball.
Nice.
Unless one of you guys has a random thought.
No, I don't. Timmy, you got one?
A random thought?
Yeah, you got any?
Every thought of mine is always random.
They're all random.
To bring it back down to one. No, I do not have a random thought. I'm actually going to jump off here and just pass another cop. I'm getting into that cop heavy territory on the south side of Indy.
You be safe
Timmy.
and you guys have a good trip.
Boy, ship's going to happen. I appreciate it. You're listening to the Ship's Going to Happen.
There we go. Thank you, Timmy.
Later, guys.
See you, man. That was a good little. That was a good recording for that. You're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen. That was good.
I need to get them all in here.
Because one of the reasons is because it sounded like he was in the truck. So,
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing we missed was, this is Timmy B. You're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show.
We'll have to record each other doing that.
Yeah.
Shortly, get them all on the we got somebody next week.
We do. I'll try to send you guys a backstory on this gentleman. I don't think he has his own YouTube. I know he drives for Northern Transport something. I don't remember. He follows Ship's Gonna Happen on Instagram. So I just randomly one day kind of hit him up and asked him if he'd be interested in being on the show. So that is our guest for next week. We also have, I think the next few weeks we have people lined up.
Nice.
Yeah, I keep that on my computer at home, or the one that I normally bring here, but I didn't bring it with me today. How come no video last week? What happened?
Oh, yeah. So, could only hear Tim.
What?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Really?
Could only hear Tim.
Oh, man. That's fine. I mean, I just was like, all right.
It all looked good, but could only hear Tim. So, I think it was what I was saying is we all needed to have our mics on for the webcam. Remember when we turned them off?
Yeah. What? On our computers, you mean?
Yeah, your kind of laptop. So this that didn't control that part of the audio, and that was my concern.
I don't mind it being like this. So.
Yeah, so we can do it. We just will have to have the audio on the computer on. So we'll have to do both.
We also need to get with Matt and Liz.
Yeah, we'll get with them. We need to do that. I'll hit them up this week.
Do a midweek thing?
Yeah, do a midweek and get on with them. Yep.
Yeah. Where we are their guests.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yep. They'll have live stream soon, so we'll get with them. Matt and Liz, if you're listening, we're going to hit you up.
Yeah, definitely. I watch, everybody we have on, I watch their videos. I'm overly interested.
I got to get the, oh my Lord, the European driver.
Oh, yeah. So I reached out to Ned and I didn't get a response.
Didn't get a response.
But if you can, or if you do.
And then I got another guy that wanted me to reach out to somebody, so I'll have to do that. Yeah, he gave me some. He said he was Ned's buddy. What was his name?
Trucker Ray.
Yeah, I lost his name for a second there. But Trucker Ray, one of his buddies had contacted me and told me there was someone else we need to talk to. So I'll send that in and he gave me his personal email. This is just recently. So
those are the shows that do well when we have drivers on and help push our show. So
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
it's always interesting to hear their story too. So
it is.
We all have stories, and it's definitely interesting to hear a driver's perspective on how things are going.
Yeah. You're listening to The Ship's Gonna Happen, Dave. Do you have anything else, brother?
I do not. I feel like I failed miserably today in more ways than one.
Oh, it's all good.
10:15 in the morning.
We'll give a wild beer.
You're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And then we'll see everybody next week, right?
Yeah.
Ship's Gonna Happen.
Take care, everybody. Ship's Gonna Happen.
We are out.